Hello and welcome to a very special color circuit reaction to whatever the hell Google is throwing your way. Google Duplex. This was
The weirdest, most random thing to ever happen, because now Skynet is real.
right. Yes, this was a very unexpected Google AI that was just announced at Google I/O this year. I believe during the keynote speech.
It's been a project that's been going on for a while now.
Yes, and it will still go on for a while.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's still it probably won't come out for several months to several years.
Yeah, they're still in their partial testing phase. This is as close as they could get to a working model.
Right.
Yeah.
And so during this during the Google conference, they showed two examples of Google's AI actually talking
Yeah.
to a human being.
And sounding like a real human being. Yeah.
It was incredible.
It was terrifying because
Terrifying.
they literally had no mix between like, oh, you know what? This sounds like a person I talked to on the phone anyways. This sounds like an assistant.
Right.
And it is the perfect thing that Google has been wanting to do with all their other voice-related things. I mean, you have Maps already.
Right.
You have OK Google.
I mean, it's Google's integrated in every part of your life now.
Yeah.
You got your calendar, you got your notes. There's no way to kind of get away from it, at least if you're on Android.
It's now your actual assistant for everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it is and you're right. That is a really good way to put it. I mean, they named the app Google Assistant for a reason. And also to like, just to be clear, there's Google Assistant, there's Google Now, there's Google Home. These are all separate things.
Separate entities for now.
Right, but I feel like they are all more or less going to kind of intermingle and become one thing.
They have to. I mean, the perfect mix of this is that now Google will take care of your life. Like, that's really what it is. Like,
so this conversation, the one that everybody was really excited about was somebody was setting up a hair appointment. Or no. Let me back up here for a second. The person would ask your phone. You can do it talking to your phone. Okay, Google, I want a hair appointment tomorrow around 12 p.m.
Yeah, set around this time, 10 to 12, and try to get me something close to that. And all I want is a simple haircut.
So it makes a phone. It says, okay, I'll do that, as it responds back to you, and then you don't hear back from it for probably several minutes.
Yeah.
That makes the phone call to whatever company that you're trying to do it. In this case, the example was a hair salon. They were trying to set a hair appointment up.
Yeah.
And it was pretty seamless. It was a conversation with a robot. This person had no clue.
So unexpected. Yeah.
Yes.
And they just flowed through the conversation, and there was a moment where it just goes, yeah, I'll wait.
That's just it, right? It's the human nuance of speech.
Yeah.
The mm-hms and the
oh, I can wait. Yeah, that'll be fine.
yeah. It does the uhs.
And there was even like a even when it did repetition, it didn't sound too forced. It didn't sound like a recording. It sounded like a person speaking to you.
And so I guess we can kind of get into the potential pros and the ramifications, or at least what people are writing all over the internet right now.
Yeah. What does this mean for the future?
What does this mean for the future? And I say ramifications in mostly a negative way, but there's clearly a ton of pros to this. So maybe we should go through some pros and cons.
Number one, it starts off with being able to speak to people better than most people talk to people.
That's a pro?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that people are awful at talking to
No, I literally see this becoming a training tool for people who are marketers or any sort of have to do those type of jobs, because now they have the perfect example, one that is a learning machine to make that job easier.
Sure, right. It's always been dependent on either a script that they have to read, which can be uncomfortable, especially when you're trying to have a conversation and you're not really having a conversation because you're reading or while you're talking to somebody or with
bulletin
somebody.
points you're going to say, and that's about it.
Right.
And then now if they throw a curveball and they say something different, well, what do? Usually it usually scrambles and it ends.
Human communication's hard.
Yeah, it's terrible. I can barely talk to myself sometimes, so I don't know how this is going to be able to take over the world and talk to everyone else for me. That sounds amazing.
So we were going that as a pro, in that there's actually even a potential learning tool here. I did not think about that.
It's an amazing learning tool, because if you think about this, it's like what is commentating? What is everything that we want to know? How does teaching work?
Right.
It's always with a question and then an answer, and then trying to say that well enough that you're going to remember it. Google now has that answer.
Yeah, being able to clearly communicate what you want, but also have a natural flow to things. There's not stutters involved. There's no dead air.
Yeah, there's no worry. And it's a weird thing, because if you think about how Google answers you now, you put in the Google search and you say, whatever you want to say, you type in, define this word, and it just says the definition. They have
Right.
the basic form of that.
Mhm.
Now it's like, oh, okay, they can say that in a very casual way that is going to make it flow like conversation.
Clearly, a con that people are people are afraid of is this uh, feels. It feels raunchy to for lack of a better word. It feels weird to know that
It's very disingenuous.
yes, exactly. People
Yeah.
are worried that people want to know what they're talking to. They want to
Yeah.
know if they're talking to a human. They want to know if they're talking to a robot.
We're blurring those lines now.
We're
Yeah.
blurring those lines. This may not catch on because of that. People might be upset
People
with this,
get
like
fear.
Google Glasses were.
Yeah.
People didn't like the fact that they were being watched all
I
the
mean,
time.
Bill Gates already has this huge chip on his shoulder when he knows, like Elon Musk, all of them say this could be for the good, but it's probably gonna end up really bad.
Yeah. There are a lot of big thinkers out there. Hawking said this too, that we should be worried.
Yeah.
This is something to worry about. I just want to back up here for 1 second. This blows my mind. No joke. When I heard this and watched this, I couldn't believe I was walking and
shock,
I had
yeah.
to stop because I was like, "What? This is a robot?"
Yeah.
How would you react if you
I feel like-
eventually found out that what you were talking to wasn't human?
So here's the thing now. I feel like every phone call that we get already is like we have those spam bots, right?
We
Who always
do.
have those.
They're pretty obviously spam bots.
Yeah.
though. They're pretty obviously a robot.
we have the
on
new
other end of the
updated
line.
version of that. And now literally one of the first questions we're going to ask her is this a robot?
Yeah, and so that's that was I saw it was one of the top rated Reddit comments back.
Yeah.
No. It was on a YouTube video, but it was a top comment, and it said, "I wonder if I asked it, am I talking to a robot? If it would respond as such."
Yeah.
You know?
And now I feel like it's not going to. It's going to be like I'm a personal assistant.
Oh,
That's how
you
they get
think
around
it'll
that.
like blur? Okay, yeah.
It'll
yeah.
rephrase it. And I feel like they already do that with the bots. And you're like, oh, okay. Am I talking to a person? It's like, oh, you must have had a long day. Do I sound that bad? What's going on? Like they
You know
have those
what?
built-in lines.
Yeah, you're saying as you're saying that, I'm thinking about it. But I have I don't want to say her name, Alexa, all over my house. I do have a Google Home as well.
Yeah.
And
She's gonna get jealous.
when they do, yeah. If you haven't seen this, look at the conversation between the two back and forth.
Oh, they're so good.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
But what was I getting at? When you ask them like, what are you, or when were you born, and things like that, they answer in a way that it's a little bit poking fun. It's a little bit tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel though like it's very obvious I'm talking to
You
a
have a real
robot, but it
Jarvis
almost
now.
feels like I am talking to a person in that way, and that because of how tongue in cheek it is, because they have personality behind
Yeah.
them.
And it's weird to think that like, what is that going to mean for the future when they blend all this? It is now a one-stop shop for all the information you could ever want in your life.
Right.
And now that dependency that we already have on our phones is become that much stronger because now we don't even need a person to speak to anymore.
We have everything we'll ever need.
We have everything we'll ever need.
We got sex bots coming out.
Yeah.
We got Google
We-
Sexy out next year.
Yeah, it's
2019.
already going to be perfect. You want your perfect being? We have it made.
We have it
Yeah.
made.
Just you want add-ons? We'll add on, even better, whatever you feel like.
This
yeah.
just by accident kind of sparked my memory of the movie Her. I don't know if you ever watched
Yes,
that one.
I love that
Joaquin
movie.
Phoenix. Honestly, it's kind of weird to say. It might be my favorite romantic film.
It's definitely it's in the top list of them because it's the most genuine relationship is.
Yeah, and to be clear, if you haven't seen that movie, it is a man that develops a relationship with something very similar to what we're seeing.
Yeah, a
in this
very
Google
personalized
Assistant.
program that assists you with life and is just pretty much a partner. I mean, you already see this in Japan where it's already a really giant thing where they have a 3D model projection of an assistant of a like
Like on
an
Archer?
anime character. Yeah. And it just tells you like, "Good morning, I miss you." It'll send you texts like,
Oh, I've
"Hey,
seen
when you're
it, I've
coming
seen
home."
those.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a real thing now. And now we have an even more updated version of that from Google.
Right.
And what is going to happen when they want to change voices now? Like, who are the voice actors who did that? Because someone had to get paid to do that.
Oh yeah.
They are now the voice of Google. for
Well,
the
yeah, I
next
think about that. I
some of
honestly
their
think when
lives.
I first got my Alexa, I thought about that. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be one of the most famous people in the world that nobody knows their name.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
And there's like they did an interview with the girl who did that voice. She's like, I thought it was just for a commercial, and they just had me say a bunch of lines, and that was it. And I got paid like this small lump sum. And now, like, hopefully these people got their money's worth because their voices enshrined for the rest of their life. Think about this family now that is gonna have their grandkids or great-great-grandkids are going to know
Oh, that's super meta.
that
So wait,
voice.
are you telling me that when a voice actor, as somebody that doesn't yourself,
Yeah.
that when they do something like this, it is an amalgam of a ton of words that they throw into basically a bin? Like, oh, here's the word the
It
and
depends.
or
Well, when it's something like this, yeah, it's just a bunch of sounds you kind of make.
ooh,
Oh, ooh,
and they just splice them together.
they can do that. That
Okay.
can happen.
Oh.
It's not usually a thing that they try to do, but a lot of mechanisms that they're now trying to build in inside these back end of programs is exactly that.
Yeah, so it's crazy high end in artificial intelligence, is what you're telling me,
Yeah,
which is exactly what we're
it's
seeing.
going to be so. We listed a pro, we listed a con, right? A con
We
was
did list a pro and a con.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so what's another pro? What do you feel like?
Um, clearly it's easier to use. They are streamlining everything that you have,
It's true.
and this looks like your grandmother can do it. Your second uncle who knows nothing about, and it's always a second uncle,
Yeah.
who knows nothing
It's never the
about
first.
electronics.
Yeah.
And so this is only going to make all of our lives easier.
Yeah, we now. Well, I feel that for the pro. Here's the other side of con of that is personal assistants now. What does that happen? What are you doing with that job?
Is this a job that no longer, that will be phased out by technology yet again, which is, and I hear this argument all the time, and I get it. That does make sense for people that work in the labor force.
Yeah,
But
blue collar jobs are disappearing by the day because of technology. Yeah,
I want to believe though that society then has to become that much smarter as we use things like technology in our everyday lives. We now have to train more to. Somebody
trying
has
to understand, yeah.
Somebody has to make these things happen. That just doesn't come out of
It's
nowhere.
true, but
so there are jobs that are being created from this, but also there are jobs being taken away from this. I don't know.
yeah. And when is the point that a program by itself is going to phase out people to do the things that we want to do, like create another program?
Sure.
And that is literally just a matter of time now.
Are there a lot of personal assistants left? You know, is that a common job anymore? Do we have
It's
any
a
more?
very common job.
Yeah?
Because a lot of people don't want to deal with a lot of problems in their lives. So they're just like, I will literally pay someone. Like, you can go onto Fiverr and get an assistant. I had an assistant for 6 months. I paid him $5, like, every month. Just do
Wait,
shit
$5
a month.
person? You paid a person $5?
a month to literally be my assistant because they didn't give a shit. They're just like, hey, yeah, give me your month schedule and anything I have to plan and anything like that, and I'll do it for you.
Interesting.
Yeah, and you can do that for Fiverr, or you can do that off like these all mini sub programs. You can find an assistant. There are websites dedicated to
Wait, are
finding a
you
personal
talking about
assistant.
AI? I was thinking of a person.
Of a regular
It's
person.
a person. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Like it was a person like China. It was
I mean,
just like-
I do this at my job. I will every once in a while we do have like an administrative staff. I'm a part of that, so every once in a while I'll be put on the phones, mostly just to kind of answer and redirect and
just
amongst
tell
other
them the right
things.
place to go to. Yeah.
Right, and so that makes me wonder how this. Yeah, you're right. How this is going to belabor our workforce if
It'll be a very different because now we're slowly losing that. We're losing restaurant jobs. We're seeing it inside grocery stores. We're seeing it everywhere now.
Yeah, Amazon released their grocery store in Seattle, I believe.
And you either walk out and go. We have people who literally just run groceries now. That's the most basic form of a personal assistant to do the
Right.
things you don't want to do.
Right.
And now Google is taking over that. So that's going to be an interesting factor to see where it's going to take people's jobs at this point.
Well, you ready to wrap this guy up?
Yeah, I think we
Final
need to.
thoughts?
I love it. I'm going to use it every single day because it's one of those things that we literally hired on a person just to do that, and they became part of our staff. Like
That's true. Yeah, we do. We basically have somebody that does something similar to this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get rid of you, Jill. Sorry.
no longer on the board. You're gone.
Yes, I'm on the same camp as you. I'm the biggest Google fan. I wanted to work for Google when I was a kid, and
a
it's
dream,
because
yeah.
of things like this. How did they hide this for this long? Of course, we had something similar to this because Google Assistant has existed, but this is a whole other.
It's
step.
always asserted itself very differently in different parts of our lives.
Right. No. Yeah. This is a quote unquote human connection now.
Yeah.
Human conversation.
I'm waiting for the first person to fall in love with it. That's going to be a story. I guarantee it. It's
Yeah.
going to be a story.
Joaquin Phoenix on his next film. Him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. All right, cool. So that was Color Circuit's reaction to Google in their most recent
Crazy announcement.
Duplex is what it's called from the Google I/O conference that happens every year. So let us know what you think. Please tell us in the comments below here on youtube.com/Color Circuit. Also check us out every day on twitch.tv/Color Circuit Live for live streaming content, comedy, film, games. This one was a little
All
bit
sorts.
out of our norm, but I
Yeah.
would love to talk about more electronics
I
with you.
love technology. It's like
yes.
one of my things where I'm like, I don't know why I know this, but now everything's ingrained in me. Like I can go. We need to do more of this.
We need to do more of this. And we will see you around. My name is Dylan.
I'm Bon.
And bye-bye.
See you guys.